Good evening and welcome to Squeal. I am Andy and tonight I'm joined by John Richards and Dean Arcuri, and our topic tonight is the wonderful world of hair. Where do you want it? Where do you not want it?
I feel
is
like
there too much?
We're woefully underqualified for the hair conversation.
I'm not sure about that. I think we're pretty well qualified. I have been noticing hair appearing in my ears, which I am rather unhappy about.
Only now.
Doesn't everyone have hair in their
developer.
ears? You're a late bloomer.
Oh, I'm getting it on
Puberty's just kicking in.
and I'm getting some on the top.
I was enjoying that today. Paul Anthony mentioned that he was getting grey in his beard, so he had to shave the beard off.
But still, the hair
grey in
is
the
so
muzzle.
long.
I know. No. I can wrap it round. But I love grey in the muzzle.
Yeah,
I love it.
I actually have a little bit of greys here in the ends of my sideburns.
I have lots
and
of
I
grey.
love it. It's just this nice little sexy edge of grey, which I think is fantastic.
If you have a moustache, does that mean you don't have to do your nose hairs?
It probably all just joins up together. Just sweep them over.
I just feel like if you have a moustache and you can maybe attest, you constantly feel like your nose is blocked.
No, I have sinus problems, so I always feel like my nose is blocked.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hay fever.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so it's all good. My mother was in town the other day, and I know this
Speaking
because
of hair,
well, no,
yes.
because
Did you see her?
I'm getting to the point. I did this time. No, she said well, she does it abruptly. She rings up. I'm in town. She also saw a UFO many years ago. I don't know if they're connected, but
That explains a lot.
she was quite freaked out by how much beardage me and my partner had because she's living in Perth, and apparently because I live in Thornbury, where everyone looks like Ned Kelly.
Everybody,
You know.
yeah.
And it was kind of interesting that to realise that the facial hair thing can be quite geographically specific. So
okay.
Perth people going, ooh, beards, whereas in Melbourne, that's a prerequisite.
In Perth, they have tats all over their face instead.
It is interesting because we are filming this just after Movember has finished, one of the most hated months of the year for many, many people. But I love the crazy facial hairs that occurs. Like, I love the inventiveness of it and the fun that people have with it.
Well, I love the fact that men who to me are unattractive become attractive for 1 month. Because if they don't have facial hair, they're a woman, as far as I'm concerned.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That's your line in the sand.
Invisible. Men without
I'm
facial
safe
hair.
then.
Yeah, I don't know who you are. I don't even recognise you every time I meet you, and you've got to say something before I remember. But it's it's just without facial. I'm just not.
Really? How long have you had your facial hair?
20 odd years. I don't know.
Wow.
And it's never coming off.
Yeah, I had to shave
And
it
it
once.
still shocks your mother.
I had to shave it once for an ABC sketch comedy series some years ago because it's obviously hard to do different characters if you have to try and stick things on top of your beard. So I'd shaved the beard off, and years later when we were trying to get a visa for England, me and my partner, every photo we had, it looked like green card. It looked like we'd just taken them that afternoon in front of a whole bunch of fake backdrops because we had the same hair and facial hair for like 20 years. And I found the one picture from the ABC with no beard in which I looked like a thumb with eyes. And that at least got us a visa for England. But it's just, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, also Fat Boy, illusion of chin.
It does, I've got to admit,
I
like
think
it
I
does
need- I
make
think
the
it
world of
maybe-
difference to the 7 chins that I have. It certainly does differentiate it, and it
With
works.
distracting impact.
But facial hair can
So-
still not work in a positive. As sexy as it is and as nice as it is, it can also be a mess. Like, I have a friend that found food in his beard like 2 days later.
Okay.
That's self-sufficient.
It's not. It's disgusting. And you know, there's more upkeep and cleanliness. Not that this is a bad thing, but we're in the land of the lumberjack metrosexual.
The lumbersexual. I love lumbersexuals.
And I'm like, now this is a thing. I've been loving this for years.
I know. And everyone's been whinging about, lumbersexuals. Yeah. Well, it's not for you.
Yeah, it's for me.
You've got a beard, but you still would have to shave pretty much every day.
Well,
Which
I
defeats
have
the part of the point of
sideburns.
it. Yeah.
So I don't have a beard because
You're quite
it's not
inventive,
far
though, aren't
from
you,
it.
with your facial
I
hair?
am very inventive
You're
with
an
my facial
inventive
hair. I don't
man.
know if it still can be seen, but let's
It
have
can.
It can be. I just did this recently,
It's
which
a
was the
The World AIDS
Red
Day.
ribbon.
World AIDS Day ribbon in the back of my head. And that was really interesting because I had people coming up to me and asking, oh, that's really cool, what is that? And it was nice to kind of be engaging with it. But it was also even more interesting because I live on Smith Street and there's many people often asking for donations and things. And I had all these, you know, the people that selling the Daffodil Day and anti-cancer, and they were like, you've got really cool hair. And he turned around on World AIDS Day and said, you should care about something more than your hair. And I'm like, I do. This is actually for a reason. But I think
political hair, God
political
damn
hair
you.
statement. I love creative hair. I love what's going on with it. I love that people manscaping and
Cool. Yeah. Well,
great.
let's go below the neck.
Is there such a thing as too much hair?
Yeah.
No.
And how much do you manscape? And
It all depends on the person. I believe manscaping is something that someone else should do to me so that I can enjoy it.
Cool.
It's fun for everyone.
You can still have lots of hair and manscape a bit though.
I remember seeing a huge muscle dude in England one time who had the furriest back I'd ever seen. And it was interesting because he was so furry. It was just the most hypnotic. It was like, "May I stroke your back?" Yeah, it was so beautiful.
It speaks to a lot of comfort, the comfort that a person chooses to have for themselves as well. Because I have friends that have hairy shoulders and a hairy back, and that's the only part of their body that they shave. They have big beards and everything, but it's because people be like, oh, hairy shoulders and back. Do you know what? It's your hair, let it fly. Quite frankly, as long as it makes you feel happy and comfortable, that's great. Some people could work on their cleanliness a little bit more because it can smell. But we all have that problem.
It can all get knotty too if it gets too long.
How much
How
body
long
hair do
can
you
it be?
have?
Yeah, are you plaiting it? What the hell are you doing, you crazy
put a brush
man?
through it every now and then. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's why a little bit of manscaping doesn't have to be like a. You don't have to look like a bare, bald, piglet or anything.
You do hit a
You can
certain point in your life when you suddenly realise the people that remove all of their hair, like at some point you're like, you're not a twink anymore. It's time to step on up and embrace it. And when they don't, it actually gets really terrifying. Like I feel like it's Daddy Warbucks gone crazy.
There is that moment in which a twink has to give up being a twink.
Yeah.
And that's called 23.
Yeah. Hey, I saw online yesterday a new thing, dyeing your armpit hair. Is that the
That actually,
strangest
did you
thing?
read the article or just look at the BuzzFeed pictures? Because that was actually women doing it for a cause.
Oh.
It wasn't just a fashion
I've got to say
trend.
though, I have noticed though, armpits. I was thinking about the armpits have become mainstream.
I love them.
I love them too. But I remember 20 years
It's
ago.
Squeal After Dark, I think, we're heading into that direction.
Squeal Nights. There was a joke though in 20 years ago in AbFab where she made a joke about reading an article saying you should be kissing armpits and armpit kissing, and she was horrified by it.
And you were like, I've been doing it for years.
Well, yeah, and things in the gay scene, that's always had a sort of dirty, sweaty, sleazy kind of armpit licking. And it's always been really hot. And I realized that I think it's become actually mainstream. And I saw an ad for Caliber, the clothing company. So muscle dude, underpants, arm up, big armpit. And I thought, you wouldn't have done that as a mainstream print
now
ad
it's
10 years ago.
Cool.
So armpits are now in.
Armpits are in.
Yeah.
So hair
You heard it here on Squeal.
Yeah.
Armpits are in. We will see you next time. You're on Ben TV. Thanks a lot.